Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? It is Monday, the 29th, I think, of July. We are getting through the summer. So, before we have a little look at the cards, I thought we would do a little chit chat on spirit signs and communication this week. Now, lots of people have different spirit messages that come through and have their own little symbols and little signs. But the communication of it is also super important. And I don't think everybody realises that they can actually communicate with the spirit world themselves. You know, I have a lot of people come to me for my readings, and the spirit will connect and give their messages and whatever. But I encourage the sitter to open themselves up to their own messages, to their own communication, and that can appear in the form of signs and symbols. But you know, like, communication is super important. So you know, if you phone someone up and you're like hello and they don't answer, or if it's my phone, they don't hear me because my phone is coming to the end and it's dying, so you're like hello. You need that two-way conversation, don't you? So the spirit world work in the same way, where you put your thoughts out and they pick up on them. But also you can ask them, whether it's out loud or whether it's your mind, and you can ask them for help, support, guidance, and you can ask them to, it's not like a test, but you can say to them, you know, show me you're around by giving me a sign. And that give me a sign is very open, isn't it? But if you were to communicate specifically, show me around by giving me a sign of a butterfly with blue wings. That's a bit more specific. So you want to be more specific, the same as you would, morning Jane, the same as you would in any kind of communication, manifestation. You know, when we text someone, how many times is a text or a email sent and it's gone, like they've took it the completely wrong way because it's not specific enough, or they've took it in the wrong tone. So be specific in what you're asking for. So, you know, they can communicate in signs, in symbols. So there could be particular birds that resonate. There could be, like I said, butterflies, particular colours, robins. Feathers is another one, and different feathers and different birds can mean different things. And when you start working, you collect your own kind of dialogue, really, your own dictionary of different meanings. So I have different meanings for different colour feathers. They're personal to me, but somebody might have, you know, I don't like to go with the book things. I like to go with what feels right, the same as like everything really, dreams and chakras, everything. There's a personal system that I work with, not a general system. A general system is someone else's perspective of it. So it's good to work with your own. So come up with your own, and it does take time, but come up with your own signs and symbols. Work with the spirit world. Ask them to show you things specifically. So feathers, you've got white, grey, black, like all different colours, but they're the common ones. Brown, they're the common ones. So you could, when you see one of those feathers, you could then say, what does this colour mean? And go with the first thing that comes into your head. That becomes your new symbol. That becomes, that black feather means that white feather means that, or that grey or that brown, whatever it is, it would mean that. When you see certain birds and you think of someone in the spirit world, think, who am I thinking of? Maybe that bird will resonate with that person. Or what am I going through at the moment? I was just thinking about a challenge in my life. I was just thinking about a direction, and then I've seen this bird that's really significant. What does that mean? So they will work with you, but we're quite slow. Morning, Linda. We're quite slow on picking things up. So they will be like, okay, we're going to give you this sign. We're going to give you this message. And then we're just like, oh, okay, thanks. So work with it, communicate with it, go with it yourself and say, okay, spirit world, communicate with them like they on the end of the telephone. What have you given me this sign for? And go with how you feel, or go with what you hear, that first instant. Try not to overthink it, just go on that straight one. Or like I said, pay attention to what you're thinking about at that particular time when you see something. Now, you know, lots of different birds, robins are a particular one, but lots of different birds can come in, and you can communicate and say, Nan, is that you? If it is, show the robin to look left, or show the robin to jump, or bring me another robin. You can communicate like that. You can absolutely, and I encourage my clients to do that. Jane, always lovely to listen to your chats. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. So you can communicate with that. And that's what I encourage my clients to do, to ask the questions, because they will absolutely answer. And, you know, it's a telephone line at the end of the day. That's what the communication is. But there's other symbols and signs. You can see things in the clouds, shapes. I mean, you can see quite a lot of lines going nowadays, can't you? But there are days, won't be today because it's nice and sunny, but there are days when the clouds form shapes. So it's called something, I forget what it's called. I'll put a post up about what it's called at some point. But you can lay there looking at the clouds and see shapes and signs within the clouds. And that can be, again, their way of helping you, guiding you by manipulating your either the energy around you so you see what it is that needs to be shown, or by manipulating the energy around you. What other coins? Coins are a big thing with signs and symbols. Coins are a big thing. And again, I have different coins for different things. And I've worked with that over the years. So again, I know a particular, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give the power away, but I love seeing one particular coin, and I'm always like grateful and like, thank you very much, because I know that that means it's a comfortable time. And the other coin I have is not so comfortable time. That is like, be careful of your pennies at the minute. So that one, I'm like, oh, okay, don't really want to see you, but thanks anyway, because now I will be a bit careful. So again, it's like when you see these symbols, when you see these coins, and then saying, well, what does that mean? Asking the spirit world or your higher self, whichever you want to work with, could be your conscious, subconscious, your higher level there. Ask, what does that mean to me? And then go with that first feeling or that first thought. You know, were you thinking like, oh my God, am I going to get a loan? Am I going to get this grant? Am I going to get this bonus? Because I could really do with it. And then all of a sudden you might see, I don't know, 5p. And then you've got like, oh, and you get it. And you get it, and you're like, oh, okay. And then another time you're like, oh, am I going to get a pay rise? You see that 5p again, and you get it. So you start working out a system that when you see that money, that means that. It might be like, what other coins do you see a lot? Pennies, don't we? We see pennies a lot. I think it's the smaller ones often that see a lot. It might be that when you see a penny, you've just had a big bill go out. And you're like, oh God. So it could be a penny is telling you you need to be a bit cautious there. It might be like, it could be something bigger, you know, like maybe something, don't often see 10p's, do we? Don't often see the bigger coins. So maybe if you see a 10p, could be telling you something a bit more. So have a look at what's going on in your life when you see these different symbols, whether it's coins, whether it's different coloured feathers, whether it's different birds, butterflies. I saw a dragonfly yesterday. Actually, we saw a few dragonflies. We were at this, morning Alison, morning Chrissy, morning Sarah. We were at this beautiful lake in Totton. So being a lake, dragonflies. And the weather just hasn't been there this year for bees, butterflies, dragonflies. So we did see a few dragonflies. And my symbol for dragonflies is actually death. And it was weird because the day before, you know, I've seen dragonflies and then I've heard of a death or a big change, an uncomfortable change, a change where there's like perhaps a fallout or an ending of some kind. That's what dragonflies mean to me. But again, I haven't worked with dragonflies, so I don't see them enough. So it may be that different colours of dragonflies mean different things, or if I see a couple of them together, that might mean a different thing. So we'll wait and see. But I did have a friend pass. Actually, he passed a couple of years back, but I only found out day before yesterday. Yeah, day before yesterday. So I saw the dragonfly the day after. So that is one of my death or change symbols there, uncomfortable change symbols, you know. So we've got to go through it. Morning, Jackie. Got to go through those uncomfortable things. Can't all be angel feathers and fluff, can it? And 111 numbers. Yeah, I'm not sure how my friend died, though. He was getting on a bit. He must have been in his 70s. But he had a full life, shall we say. Full life. Probably up there rocking and raving now. So, morning, Trudy. So, the other symbols is the classic numbers. The classic numbers. So, you know, seeing the 111s or the 222. I always get that call every morning. Weird. So, and again, they have a standard meaning. So, like, 1 is manifestation. If it's doubled or tripled, it's like heightened that. Like, anything is possible, in unlimited possibilities. 2 is like asking for a bit of help, asking for a bit of support. 3s are when your angels or your guides and your loved ones are around you. 4s are double 2s, so it's like there is support around you now. 5s are changes. 6 is oh gosh, what 6 is in? I don't know what, I can't remember it in angels. I remember it in general numerology and in tarot. In tarot, 6 is getting over things. I think 6 is in angel numerology is focus, pay attention to detail. I think I'll have to have a look, and so on. When you know numerology, they can get confusing, and obviously I work more with tarot numerology. But my point being, anyhow, have your own system. Don't get confused like me. Have your own system. Morning, Wendy. So when you are seeing these numbers, have a look at what's going on around you. Morning, Helena. Have a look at what's going on around you. Have a look at who's on your mind. It could be that you're thinking about your loved one, your pet, perhaps your dog, or perhaps a friend. So have a think about what you're feeling, what you're thinking when you see those numbers, or what you're going through. Do you need a bit of help or support? Are you seeing lots of 2s? You know, do you need that extra pair of hands? Or are you feeling super lucky? Are things opening up for you? Is that where the 1s resonate? You know, they might resonate that's their people's interpretations, what's out there. So they might resonate for one person that, but to you it might mean this. So have a look. I see 5s as a change for me. 5s to me are changes, whereas somebody else might see 5s completely different energy there. Ooh. So have a look at what's going on in your life when you see those. But communicate. Now, this is what I was getting to with spirit communication. So I did a church thing the other week, and I knew I had this guy. I knew I had this son that died, but I also knew a member of the audience had lost a son. So I was like, oh, this is awkward, because you don't want to give a message to someone that you know, but equally you can't choose who rocks up, who connects to you. You can't choose. So I was like confused because I wasn't trusting completely. And I was like, didn't want the easy option of like just going to someone that I knew, because then I would have felt perhaps maybe I cheated myself as well, the spirit world. Just like, was I making it up? Because I know that. And I wanted to have the proof myself, but it wouldn't go. The feeling wouldn't go. So I was like, look, you're going to have to work with me here then. You're going to have to give me things that I don't know about. Morning, Laura. Morning, Moonstar. So when I was on the platform, I said, like, you know, would anybody understand this son? I have a son here. Gave the description, and sure enough, the lady that I knew who'd lost a son put her hand up. I said, well, yes, I do know you've lost a son, but I'm not sure, and I didn't really want to come to you because I know that, and I don't want to go to people I know things. Anyhow, like I said, you can't choose who's going to connect. So I was like, we need some deep communication here. So in your head is where you're communicating. That's where you're communicating to the spirit on the platform. So I'm like, just give me some new stuff, mate. You know, I know this about you, but I don't know anything else. I don't know your personality. I know that you've had disabilities, so there's no point giving me that, because I know that, they know that, and they know that I know that. So anyway, he did. Morning, Elaine. Morning, Nora. He gave me beautiful communication of putting trains into my mind. So I was like, okay, he must have had connection to trains. And then his granddad stepped forward and gave me even more information. And I didn't know his granddad was a train driver. and his dad. So they were able to help me out by me communicating to them, saying to the spirit world, help me, give me more communication, speaking to them, saying, what else can you tell me that I don't know? What else can you give me that's going to give this lady, your mum, evidence? Then they're like, okay, we're going to start helping you. We're going to bombard you with images, or we're going to bring in someone else. And in this occasion, they bombarded me with the train images and the feeling. I'm very clairsentient, so I'm clairvoyance as in I see things, but I'm clairsentient as in I feel quite a lot. So it gave me the feeling of his personality and how he was, and you know that there was some funny feeling, because I was like, this guy is super stubborn. Like, if you don't want to go out the door, he ain't going out the door for no one. You are not changing his mind at all. I feel like once I've said something, I'm sticking to it. But it was nice because the granddad was able to come in and able to help me out and give more communication. I didn't know the granddad, but without me communicating to them, without me saying to them, come on guys, help me out, what could they have done? You know, that are they mind readers? I don't know. They would have felt that fear and that panic. My aura would have shut down a little bit. My gateway to their light, because they work on light, the spirit world. So that's the communication. When you're in a dark place, depressed, very poorly, it's more difficult for them to penetrate to a degree there. It's much easier and fluid and flows when you're in a happy place, when you've got that light and you're sending that light out and your aura is expanding. When your aura is shrinking because of fear or anxiety or like, what the fuck, it's harder for them. So I'm trying to keep this light open in that communication. So it's really important to communicate. Don't expect them just to help you. Don't expect them just to sort things out. And that will be on any level without you communicating. Work with them. You can do it. Like I said, I encourage all my Sixers, all my clients to communicate to the spirit world. It's possible. It is absolutely possible for everybody. Laura, this resonates so much. I really don't like giving generic messages. I really like to give that personal evidence that I have someone from spirit world for the person I'm reading for. Yeah, I mean, you can't help sometimes but give generic messages, because if that is part of the message, that's part of the message. But I teach to my students, just get it out your head, just let's say it. Even if it is generic, just say it, because it just releases it. If you don't say it, it stays in your head bubbling away, and you're like, I know this is generic, I'm not going to say it. I know this is generic, I'm not going to say it. And then that stops, that's a block, that stops all the other stuff. So if it's generic, just say, look, I know this is generic, I'm just going to say it to get it out of my head. So just let it go, and then you'll find that something else flows in there. But the point of it is the communication is really important. The communication for you to them to you, because sometimes it can get a bit misinterpretation there. Unless it's trance, you know, when Cole does the trance, that's obviously pure, so there's no mix up there. But you can have those communications in your daily life with the spirit signs. You can have those communications in your dreams. You know, last night I scheduled a post on a platform, and in that post was about gratitude and being grateful. It was about the weather. It wasn't anything like deep. But in my dreams last night, I had literally, I think we went to bed about 10:30. I woke up at 8:30. So, I don't think I woke up through the night. So I literally had probably 10 hours sleep, which is bloody lovely and marvellous. I do like my sleep. But in my dreams, I was dreaming about gratitude. I was dreaming about what I'm thankful for. And I kept on putting my hand on my chest in my dream saying, I am blessed. Because I'd scheduled this social media post about being pleased for the weather. So that to me was a sign that I'd sent that out last night to the universe, and then they were coming to communicate in my dreams to be like, you are blessed. We are going to bless you. So it was lovely. So I'm going to probably, one, schedule more posts like that. But two, you know, I normally do my gratitude things in the morning when you wake up, like what you're happy for, you journaling, and just that being in space in the morning. I'm so lucky. The job that I do, I get to choose my hours. So I choose not to work until 10. Which means I can bumble about in the morning, which I love, preparing things and just like laying in bed thinking about what I'm going to wear, what I'm going to do for the day, what my clients, how many clients I've got, how I'm going to work that. And yeah, I just spend a good hour in bed just contemplating and then what I'm grateful for. So it made me think, do you know what, I'm going to do it in the morning because I'm still got that routine, but I'm also going to do it more in the evening, because it seems to be that if I do some sending gratitude and thankfulness out in the evenings, then it affects my dreams and hopefully my sleep state, because it's all part of that communication there. So try it. Go around your day. My battery's about to go. Go around your day today and look at the symbols and the signs that the spirit world are giving you. You've had this talk this morning, so you're open to it now. It's set a little seed there, and communicate with them what you want. But when you see that feather, whatever colour it is, or when you see that coin, or when you see that bird, consciously be aware of what you're thinking of at that time, who you're thinking of, what's going on around you, and see what happens. Build your own dictionary dialogue of spirit communication, and it's got to be two-way. You know, thank them. Oh, thank you for that. Let them know you've acknowledged it, because if you don't let them know, how are they going to know? They might be like, oh, fuck that, we're not going to do it again. She didn't even see it the first time or the 10th time. So let them know. Thank them for it. Thank you for sending me that feather. I will work on understanding what that means. Or, thank you for sending me that grey feather. I'm not sure what it means. I think it means that there's going to be a change in some circumstances of mine. Could you give me another grey feather in a random place just to confirm that? That is perfect communication. And then when you get that second feather, you're like, okay, thank you. You know, be realistic. You could be sat like amongst a million swans and see some beautiful white feathers. Not quite sure that will work. That might just be the swan's feathers. Be realistic. I have had it. I've lost count of this. I have had it, I'm not kidding you, so many times where I've been talking to someone, and in fact it's on one of my videos. I'm going to post it in my group. I'm not going to post, I think I might have posted it on here anyway, but I'm going to post it in my group. So if you haven't joined my group, Kate May Modern Day Mystic, join it, because that's where I'm going to post it. But it was while I was doing this, it was a couple of Mondays ago, all coming back to me now. I was doing this, and there was a white feather that just came somewhere from the back here, and then that was straight early in the video, and then within seconds there was another one that came round here. There's no feathers here, there's no, and to have one random feather, my son was like, Mum, it must be a bird. And I was like, really? I've got a bird in the front room. There is no feathers. So when it's like genuine, you know it's genuine. But if you're sat under a bunch of, or next to a bunch of swans, it's probably just the swan. So be realistic with it there. But anyway, my point getting, when I was saying to my friend, look at this video, look at these feathers. Wow. We were at a festival and we looked ahead, and one single, as I was showing her the video, one single feather just floated down out of nowhere. No other feathers, just one single. So I was like, as we're talking about it, at that time, I'll take that. And there has been situations where I've been thinking about certain people in the spirit world, and one single feather has just flown down. Obviously, they've come from a bird in the sky at some point. But unless, well, I'm saying obviously, you know, ectoplasm can create things, but it's the point that it happens. It's the point that it happens that to me is the important part, and that's where the spirit world can manipulate things. I don't believe that the spirit world people necessarily turn into a butterfly or turn into a robin. I don't think that's my nan or that's my granddad. But I will be like, oh, they're around me, because they can manipulate the energy in a positive way. They can bring that to you to show you that they're there. So communicate, have a look at all the symbols and signs that you've got around you today, and work with it. Communicate back to them. Be open to them communicating to you, but communicate back to them. The more you do it, the more fun you're going to have with it. Get a little collection of feathers. Get a little collection of coin meanings. Get a little collection of, wow, whatever it is. Different coloured butterflies, different birds. Honestly, the more you do it, the more it will happen. And it's super comforting. If nothing else, it's very comforting. But it does help when you're going through something, or you want to be pre-warned about something, you can work work with it for them. Anyway, I want to pull a quick card before we disappear, before my battery goes. And I will be back next Monday for another chit chat. If you want me to chit chat about something particular, do let me know, because I do sometimes not know what I'm going to talk about. I had quite a lot of feedback from last week's one, and I can't even remember what that was now. Can't remember. Anyway, let's have a look. A little bit of guidance message for you today. You're welcome, Dottie. Okay, it's the Page of Pentacles today. Now, the Page of Pentacles is all about coming up with ideas to move forward. Let me just read Linda's a second. I was talking to someone about my plant one day, and at 11 p.m. that night, it fell off the windowsill. I saw that as a sign to be aware around the person. Oh, interesting. Yes. So, yeah, you go with what you feel. When something happens, go instantly. What's that about? I like that, Linda. So, Page of Pentacles, moving forward, coming up with new ideas, particularly around money, particularly around investment, property, and material aspects there. So it's indicating the possibility, because pages are possibilities, of good news. There's potential around you of good news to do with your finances and improving things, or getting a job, or finding a job. Now, the Page of Pentacles is connected to earth signs, so Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn there. I'm going to read what it says. I mean, I did write it because these are my own cards, but I'm going to read. Potential for material gain. Practical, you have a firm foundation to build upon. Finances receive a welcome potential boost. Practical, easygoing, material focused. This is the earth signs. Practical ideas bring improvements. Your ideas are great now. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just to the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. What it means is we've got that grounding energy in us today. Got that realistic energy, that building energy. So think about how you can make things better for yourselves today in a practical sense, but look out for the potential for, wow, more money and a strong foundation to build upon your dreams. Usually the pages connect to a person as well. So this may resonate to perhaps your son or nephew or somebody who is younger than yourself, where they're looking for some ideas to do with improving their financial status. This will be good news. Okay, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll be back next Monday with your chit chat. Oh, got a little thumbs up there. Reaction, oh, something came up, but we got a thumbs up. Loving that.